Hi everyone! The theme we are studying today in our geography unit is movement. So we ask ourselves, why is the study of movement important? Well, movement explains how people, goods, and ideas move from one place to another. People rely on products, information, and ideas that come from beyond our immediate environments. We don't have everything that we need or want in the exact places that we live. So, with movement, we might ask, why do people move? Is it for a job opportunity? Is it to be safe? Is it for perhaps an adventure? Goods and products have to move. So we ask ourselves, how or why? What for? In this photo here, can you tell me what those products are? Right in here. Do you know what they're for? It's actually for humanitarian aid. Sometimes the products are dropped into war zones to help civilians, people that are not part of the war. Sometimes they are given to victims of natural disasters. You can't exactly tell just by looking at the picture, but this is for humanitarian aid. And then sometimes we talk about information and ideas. All of the technology and information in the world didn't originate in one place. People all across the globe have shared ideas and information. There are patterns of movement which make our lives in the United States predictable and orderly. Sometimes these patterns are interrupted and people feel a ripple effect from the system breakdown. So we study these patterns to make life easier and better for us. And when they study how to make life easier and better, they often start with the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. Now, in addition to the 5 W's, people who study movement also ask how. Civil engineers study traffic patterns and try to design road systems to keep our traffic moving. This is a picture of a roundabout. Have you ever been through a roundabout before? A lot of people say that because you don't have to stop at a stop sign, even though you're moving slowly, it helps to keep the traffic moving, and that makes our lives better because we're a little bit happier when we're moving. This next picture shows the produce aisle in a grocery store. In the United States, we're lucky because we can get many options of fruits and vegetables because someone has studied where and how to get those fruits and vegetables when the United States can't grow them. And we all know that eating fruits and vegetables all year round makes us healthy people. Believe it or not, the United States is dependent on other countries around the world. Studying movement helps us to understand those relationships. Your slide says that movement helps us to understand who we are connected with and who we are dependent on. Movement is very important to the study of geography because it contributes to the development of human characteristics of a place, such as cultural traits, government practices, and tolerance of diversity. If we look at this map here, we notice that there are some pretty famous brands. Not all of these brands are made or manufactured in the United States, but there are countries all around the world that buy these products. And then this picture here represents tolerance of diversity. Have you ever heard that it takes all kinds to make the world go round? Tolerance of diversity is one of those ideas that is studied with movement in geography. So, on to the assignment that is titled Movement and Immigration. Let's look here at the learning target, which says, explain how people, goods, and ideas move from one place to another. So, your entry task today is to talk about where your family comes from. Now, if you don't already know where some of your ancestors might have emigrated from, you're going to have to ask your parents or guardians. It says discuss what you know about when and why your ancestors came to the United States and how they got here. So in this box, you can give me a short description of how your maybe your grandparents, maybe your great-grandparents, maybe it even goes farther back than that, your great-great-grandparents. How did your ancestors come to the United States and why did they come here? All right. After you do that, you're going to go into the meat of the assignment. And this part I think is really neat because you get to read some letters from some kids who have emigrated to the United States, and they come from different areas of the world. So you can type this address into an internet browser and get to those 5 kids' stories, or you can use the Canvas link and get to the same stories, okay? So there are 5 stories, and I would like you to read all of their stories, and then for the assignment, you're going to choose 2 of those kids to analyze with movement and answer these questions here, okay? So before you start, you're going to choose 2 of them. So you've read all 5 stories. Then you choose 2 of them, and I'd like you to write their names at the top of each column. So 1 kid here and 1 kid at the top here. And then each kid, you are going to answer these 3 questions. First one that you answer says, where is the young immigrant from? The second one says, why did they decide to come to the United States? And the third one, how are the young immigrants adjusting to life in the United States? So each of the kids that you choose have their own boxes for you to be able to answer those questions. When you are done with answering those questions, I'd like you to write a conclusion sentence, and that's just going to go here. So it doesn't have to be really long, maybe 2 sentences. It says, please explain what you have learned about movement, which is one of your themes of geography, with the young immigrant stories. So you're putting together their stories with what you know about movement. As always, ask me questions if you have them, and have some fun learning about movement in geography.